I have something to share with you today. Something about a personality type that not a lot of people truly understand. You've probably heard of the INFJ, but let me break it down for you. INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. It's a rare personality type. Only about 2% of the population shares it, and they're often described as the advocate or the mystic. INFJs are deep thinkers with an ability to empathize with others like no one else. But there's a side to the INFJ personality that's way more intense than that. Something a little darker. You see, INFJs have traits that can make them seem, well, a little deadly. I've always been the quiet one, the observer in the room. You know that person who doesn't speak much but somehow knows exactly what's going on? Yeah, that's me. INFJs are known for being deep thinkers and feeling things that most others don't pick up on. But here's the catch. When we go quiet, it's not always because we're processing. Sometimes it's because we're waiting for the right moment. I've had people ask me, why do you never get angry? And I'll be honest, it's because I don't really get angry in the traditional sense. I don't raise my voice. I don't throw tantrums. Instead, when I'm pushed too far, I go completely still. And that stillness? It's what terrifies people the most. You see, INFJs don't show their emotions like other types do, and that makes them unpredictable. The moment we go silent, it's like everyone around us starts wondering if we're planning something that could shift everything in the room. You've probably heard the phrase, silence speaks louder than words. For an INFJ, this is more than just a catchy quote. It's a survival tactic. When we're dealing with someone who's toxic, manipulative, or even a narcissist, our silence can cut deeper than any confrontation. I've had a few encounters with narcissists over the years, and let me tell you, they never saw me coming. Narcissists love control. They thrive on being the center of attention. But when they realize that an INFJ isn't playing their game, that we're not feeding into their need for constant validation, that's when they start to get anxious. They want us to react, to fall into their web of drama, but we won't. We just stand there watching them twist and turn in their own little bubble, and it drives them mad. The INFJ doesn't engage in the usual power struggles. We simply sit back and observe, waiting for the perfect opportunity to step in when it matters most. And trust me, when we finally speak up, it's like an explosion. It's controlled, precise, and it hits right where it hurts. One thing that sets INFJs apart from other empaths is that we don't just feel other people's emotions. We understand them. We can read someone like an open book. We know when they're pretending, when they're hiding something, when they're manipulating others for their own gain. But here's the kicker. While we feel all this empathy, we also know exactly how to use it. It's not always conscious, but an INFJ can use their understanding of someone's emotional state to their advantage. And that's when it gets dark. For example, I had this friend who was constantly gaslighting people. She'd make them question their own reality, make them feel like they were crazy. And while everyone else was getting caught up in her games, I was quietly observing. I knew exactly how to push her buttons without her even realizing it. I'd ask just the right questions at just the right time, and suddenly she was the one second-guessing herself. It wasn't about hurting her. It was about making her face herself, about showing her the truth that she wasn't ready to see. But the thing is, INFJs don't usually use this dark empathy unless we feel threatened or cornered. It's like a defense mechanism. A way to level the playing field when we've been pushed too far. And when it happens? Well, let's just say the narcissists and dark empaths never see it coming. What people often forget about INFJs is that we are not passive doormats. Sure, we seem calm, even serene most of the time. But deep inside, there's a storm brewing. When an INFJ is truly pushed to their limits, when they feel their core values are being violated, they can become a force to be reckoned with. I'll be real with you. I've had moments where I've had to cut people out of my life, and I don't just mean ghosting them. I mean, I've severed ties completely. Once an INFJ decides that someone is no longer worth their time or energy, we don't look back. There's no warning, no explanation, just silence. And that silence is the ultimate weapon. People are left wondering what went wrong, what they did to lose an INFJ's trust, and they never get closure. And honestly, that's the part that hurts the most for them. The thing about INFJs is that despite all the dark traits, we don't want to hurt people. We're not out here trying to manipulate or control others. We just want peace. That's our main motivation. We want peace for ourselves and for the people we care about. We'd rather avoid drama and keep things calm. But when that peace is disrupted, that's when the INFJ's darker traits come to light. It's not out of malice. It's simply because once we're pushed beyond our limit, we'll do whatever it takes to protect our inner peace. So to answer the question, yes, INFJs can be deadly silent. But that silence is not the sign of weakness. It's a warning. It's a signal to back off, to stop testing us. When an INFJ goes silent, it's not because we don't care. It's because we're calculating. We're figuring out our next move. And trust me, when we decide to make a move, it's not going to be one you'll forget. All right, that's my take on the silent but deadly traits of an INFJ. If you're ever in the presence of an INFJ, just know they're watching, they're calculating, and when the time comes, they won't hesitate to expose the truth. Stay mindful and don't take their silence lightly.